Strathclyde Fire Brigade are regularly called to emergencies on water. Children through the ice on frozen canals, rescue of large number of casualties from serious flooding, and the recovery of bodies have all been accomplished with the use of the inflatable Zodiac boats which the brigade obtained in 1983. It is important, therefore, that operational personnel learn the extra skills required to work safely in the dangerous environment of open water sources, such as the loch you are now looking at. Remember, water kills. Professionalism is important. This video will show you basic boat handling skills, why you must wear a life jacket at all times, rescue techniques, and personal water safety.
Inflatable rescue boats, which are used, as you've just seen, principally for rescue purposes. This can be from situations such as flooding, from canals, particularly in winter, or from emergencies in any of the large freshwater lochs in Strathclyde region. Apart from firemen safely reaching the incident, which could involve rough terrain, fences, walls, etc., and this requires training and familiarisation, there could be additional problems of working in darkness, high winds or cold, wintry conditions. Therefore, that when our personnel face such dangers, that training in basic boat handling skills is given. You will see here instruction being given and the techniques for putting the dinghy into the water. It's put in stern first. Control is being taken of the forward guy line, and the dinghy is then hauled alongside ready for boarding.
One of the main reasons for choosing an inflatable boat as opposed to a rigid hull dinghy is that of stability. And here we can see two members standing on the side of the boat while the boat remains fairly stable in the water. One of the most important pieces of gear is the life jacket. It's also important that the life jacket is donned before entering the boat and also fastened in a proper manner. And here we see two of the personnel getting themselves dressed in life jackets. The fire helmet is also worn in conjunction with the life jacket. On entering the boat, it's important that an even weight distribution is carried out. Therefore, the boat crew of two will position themselves evenly so that one is diagonally opposite the other, thus maintaining an even weight distribution. It can either be traditional with the oars in place in the rowlocks, the boat can be propelled by removing the oars and using them in a canoe-style fashion. As we have already seen, the inflatable boat is a very stable and safe boat. Therefore, the recovery of casualties can be either from the rear of the boat over the transom or over the side of the boat. The advantage in bringing a casualty in over the side of the boat is that the rounded float chamber assists with the lifting of the casualty into the boat. The recommended method of bringing a casualty into the boat is to grab the shoulders and, using a ducking action, get the momentum going. On the third pull, the casualty is lifted into the boat.
What you've just seen in the swimming pool was training in boat carrying techniques, efficient launching of the boat, and good weight distribution of the crew. You also seen methods of propelling the boat, which were either canoe or rowing, and also rescue techniques where the crew were getting the casualty safely aboard the boat. Now out here at the canal, we'll see how men react in the practical situation where there is a casualty to be rescued. And we are going to use a casualty, as you see here. It's a well-weighted casualty. It's approximately 17 stones, and the men are going to use the techniques they've practiced in the pool to get this casualty safely aboard the rescue craft. And here we see the crew carrying the boat. The efficient method, one at each corner. Swinging the boat round so that it goes into the water by the stern. And somebody taking charge of the line at the bow so that the boat does not become detached. Crew bringing it alongside and getting in safely. And you'll see when they position themselves that there is good even weight distribution for efficient movement across the water. Obviously, if there was too much weight at the stern and the bow come out, you could have wind resistance. We now see the boat going out towards the casualty. You can just see the casualty there, just the life jacket of the casualty in the top right. Now we see the dinghy coming up. There is quite a bit of wind here, and these adjustments with the oars, it's got to be pretty good if he wants to get the casualty. On the right side of the craft, and here we see the dummy being hauled aboard the dinghy, and you can see again that stability. Tremendous weight on one side of the dinghy, and yet the boat remains quite stable. Just the last few hauls and tugs at a very large and heavy casualty.
This part of the video is called "It'll Be Alright on the Night." Here we see the crew of fit, tough professionals practicing their launching techniques, the special boat section. Note their speed, their style, their efficiency, Never fear, help is here. The rescue boat surges forward, ploughing towards the young lady. Damsel in distress is using a self-rescue technique. Well, it's either that or she's going home for her tea. Well, who's this? Mark Spitz? David Wilkie? Esther Williams? It's hard to tell. Now, this looks like an over-the-stern rescue. Note the boat reversing into position. No, it's supposed to be an over-the-stern rescue. I was right the first time, it is Esther Williams. Here come the special boat people again. See the improvement in handling techniques? Note their speed, their style, their efficiency. Oh, not again.
Now that last clip there brings us very neatly and appropriately to what happens if you go into the water by accident or even by choice in your fire kit. The first thing to do is keep your fire kit on. You require it for warmth. Scotland's waters all the year round are a killer. Even in summer people have been dying from hypothermia in not much more than an hour. So if you go into the water, keep your fire kit on. If you're close to safety, by all means swim to safety, but if you're far away, then stay still. If you're far away from safety, stay still, and this will further lessen heat loss and allow you to build a warm layer of water between your body and the uniform. So staying still retains heat. The cold will quickly reduce your strength and ability to help yourself. And this was what happened in the Blackpool multiple drowning, where people were unable to help themselves very quickly after being in cold water. Also, swimming in fire kit is very tiring and will reduce strength quickly. Second reason for keeping fire kit on is its buoyancy. Now, if I could just have a volunteer, if one volunteer would please step forward to demonstrate the buoyancy of the fire kit. Now, the first thing we must do when falling or jumping into water is we must keep the helmet safe. As the helmet strikes the water, then and the buoyancy of the helmet, you would have a tremendous stress on the neck strap here. Potentially, given enough height, we could break our necks jumping into water if we don't make the helmet safe. So when the fireman jumps into the water, he's going to wrap his arms round the helmet to keep the helmet safe and not to do him any harm. So if our volunteer would kindly make his helmet safe, and then just jump into the water and demonstrate the fire kit's buoyancy. And we see he pops right to the surface very quickly, and you can see the buoyancy of the fire kit. Now, he's not moving, he's not swimming, he's not treading water, and he's got perfect buoyancy there with his fire kit. Would you just take your helmet off now? He's got a bubble of air in the helmet, and he uses that in addition to give him extra buoyancy. Okay, and if he stays still, he'll keep nice and warm till he's rescued. Of course, before you work on the inflatable rescue boat, you should be wearing a life jacket and should not be falling in minus a life jacket. If we look at the life jacket here, we see that we've got a brightly fluorescent colour which assists picking men up in darkness, and we also have a whistle here which is not an ornament, it's got serious purpose, and the whistle is to attract attention, again, should you be lost in the darkness. The jacket must be well tied. You can see the strap is tightly adjusted here round the fireman, and that is vital. It is vital that the strap is well tied, or else it is no longer a life jacket. And if I could just have this gentleman to come forward. This gentleman has just put the life jacket round his neck and he's not adjusted it, and we're now going to demonstrate in the pool what happens what the comparison is between the well-adjusted, well-secured life jacket and the life jacket which is put on badly with the safety strap just dangling there. But now, before he jumps in, he's going to make the helmet safe, and he's also going to make the life jacket safe, because it's got terrific buoyancy and will tend to float quickly as well. So if he puts his arm round his life jacket and one arm round his helmet and jumps in, he comes up quickly, he starts to breaststroke face down, starts to breaststroke. We imagine him being hit on the head, knocked unconscious, stop. And the life jacket, the action of the life jacket turns the man onto his back and his face clear of the water. His face clear of the water. And even unconscious, that will save the man. Now we're going to have a look at what happens when the badly adjusted life jacket is used. And we see we've got our little strap dangling here. And this gentleman again is going to arm round life jacket, one arm round his life jacket, one arm round his helmet. He's going to jump in and we'll see what happens to him. Right, jump. And swim across. And we can see the life jacket coming up. And stop. He becomes unconscious, he's been knocked out. And his face this time is not taken clear of the water. If we could imagine a bit of wave action there, we'll quickly knock the life jacket over the man's head and he's in severe danger of drowning.
Zodiac boats should regularly train in water safety techniques. However, life-saving apparatus must be at the poolside in case any man gets into difficulties. Life jacket drills in particular must be practiced by all personnel. The life jackets in use in Strathclyde are of the type which inflate on immersion in water. As we can see here, they can also be inflated prior to the start of training. One vital item of equipment which should always be taken in the boat is a rescue line, both for the safety of the boat and the retrieval of persons in danger. Here we see two men training in the use of special life-saving lines which are used instead of the old-style life belt. These lines have a free end which is held by the fireman whilst the weighted bag or bobbin is thrown out accurately for the casualty to grab hold of. The Zodiac boat, like any piece of fire service equipment, is only as good as the personnel who are using it. If the men are well trained in boat handling and water safety, the boat is a tremendous asset to a professional rescue service.